Hello traders, welcome back to this video. So it is a Sunday and today I have some few analysis. I have five pairs today. So stay tuned and stay along so that you can see the analysis that I got for you guys. So here I have Euro USD. Let me start with the Euro USD. So coming from the daily time frame, I told you guys that we have some buying momentum from this fair value gap. Price reacted from this fair value gap because from the daily time frame we did not have any other block for price to react from. So the price chose to react from this fair value gap. We have this fair value gap in between these candles, so the price tapped into this fair value gap inside here, and we have this reaction to the upside. And now that we know we have the break of structure to the upside, because the origin that broke structure to the upside has a sweep of liquidity, it means we are looking to buy more to the upside so that we can clear the external liquidity. So clearly, we have a bias to buy to the upside on Euro USD. So into the lower time frame, the 4-hour time frame. So let me delete these lines to keep my chart very clean. So into the 4-hour time frame, clearly we need to focus in this area here. We clearly see that the price is making higher highs and higher lows to the upside. You can see higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we expect another higher low before we look for more buys to the upside. So the point here is for us to look for an entry to join the trend to the upside. So in this case, I need to see price coming down. We can see the price is trying to come down in a very corrective way, and this is more advantage to us. So as for me, I expect price to come back down and then fill in this fair value gap. We have this fair value gap from the 4-hour time frame, and I told you guys that if we see a fair value gap from the 4-hour time frame or the daily time frame or even the weekly time frame, that fair value gap is very, very important to us. So in this case, I need to see price filling in this fair value gap, and my point of interest now will be this order block. We can see this is the order block here that has a fair value gap and it is unmitigated from the 4-hour time frame. So this is my main point of interest. This is uh, my order block that I want to see price reacting from. So I want to take my trade from this point because I have some confluence and I understand that the market is moving in an uptrend. So this is my point of interest on Euro USD. I want to see this fair value gap being filled out, and then the price uh, and then to look for a reaction to have my entries to the upside. So I want to see a liquidity area where the market can take some liquidity before moving to the upside. So I'll drop down into the lower time frame. So in the 1 hour time frame, what do I see in the 1 hour time frame? We have this pullback here, a three candle pullback. So this is a pullback, a valid pullback. I need to see it being used as an inducement. I mean, as a liquidity. So I want to see the pullback coming inside this area, filling in this fair value gap, and then price taps. If price taps into this area, this is where I'll be looking for my buying entries. So I'll expect to see a change of character or any candle reaction. Let's say maybe a candle confirmation before I have my entry, and that is where I'll be having my entries to the upside. So the setup on GBP USD is to look for buys from this area. So let me adjust this and then clear the chart to be very clear. I want to delete that so that the chart can be very, very clear. So my first take profit obviously will be at that high because we are making higher highs and higher lows to the upside on Euro USD. So I want to have my entry from this order block because of this fair value gap. The fair value gap is used to attract or it is used in the market as magnet to attract price into this area before tapping into the order block. And I think if I get the best reaction from this order block, I'll have my entries to the upside. So that is my setup on Euro USD. I want to target that high. So obviously, as you all know, is that I'll always target 1:3 risk to reward ratio. And in case I have, let's say, maybe 2 or 3 positions, I'll close some partial profits and then place my break even at my entry point and target the full take profit with the remaining positions. So that is Euro USD. Next, I have GBP USD. So on GBP USD, I don't have a clear entry point, but and I now see what the price is trying to do. So I was telling you guys that we are supposed to look for more buys on GBP USD, and the important thing now is the bias. If you have a bias, you can clearly look for setups to join that bias. So I am still insisting that we should be looking for some buys to the upside. So what price did? Price came back down, swept this lows liquidity. We have this three candle pullback from the 4-hour time frame. So the price came back down, swept this lows liquidity, and I think I understand what the market was trying to do. So after the market swept this lows liquidity, we had the momentum to the upside, and we now created a new break of structure to the upside. So it means we have a strong low right now down here, because this low swept this lows liquidity before going up to break structure. So we have a valid break of structure to the upside. This is the break of structure to the upside. So let me mark that. So currently, right now, we have a very good pullback into this area. So let me drop down into the lower time frame. So after this break of structure, let me adjust it. So after this break of structure, we have a very good pullback. You can see what price came back down to do. I thought the price could have reacted from taking this lows liquidity, but instead the market went even lower to take this lows liquidity, because you can see even clearly this low did not sweep any liquidity on this side. So I think that is the main reason why price swept this lows liquidity, and then price moved to the upside with a very good momentum. So after this break of structure, now I have my strong low, and the price can decide to do anything inside this range from this low to this high before moving even higher. So what you need to know to do right now is try to look for an entry point to support the trend to the upside. So as for me, this week I traded GBP USD. I had two setups. The first setup was at this point here. I hit my stop loss from this point, and then this is another setup that I traded yesterday. It was sorry, it was on Friday. I traded this setup from this low, because I had an understanding that I am supposed to look for buys to the upside. So currently, right now, I do not have a very good point of interest to mark for you guys, so that you can try and see where to have your entry. So let me delete this to keep the chart very clean. So as I was saying, is that I don't have a clear point of interest right now, because you can see what price is trying to do around this area. We do not have any uh, order block or any point of interest that we can mark for our entries. So, but as for GBP try and look for buys, because we now have a very clear bias. We have our strong low right now that caused a valid break of structure. So the best thing to do right now is to try and look for an entry to support the trend to the upside. So that is it on GBP. It is an update to tell you guys that we are still bullish. So we look for more buys to the upside. So next, I have gold. Next, I have gold. So on gold, if I go to the daily time frame, on gold, I told you guys that on our, I think it was on a Sunday video, or yeah, it was on a Sunday's video. I told you guys that if we have a break of this support and resistance, we are going to look for buys to the upside. And when we had this break, we had an impulsive move to the upside. There were no more opportunities for us to join the trend. But when the price came into this order block, we have a daily order block here. You can see this order block with this fair value gap. This is a valid order block. There is a fair value gap below the order block. And when price tapped into this order block, you can see the reaction. We have a selling reaction to the downside. And because now we have the selling pressure, the price came back down to retest this low, this support and resistance. And if you can see clearly for adding confluence into our analysis, we can see that there is a double bottom down here. So we need to see what the market will be willing to do when the price tapped into this area. So we are supposed to be looking for more buys to the upside. And when price came into this area and tapped into this support and resistance area, you can see how the reaction was from this support and resistance level. So right now, we have this selling pressure from this order block, and we are going to try and look for a confirmation from this area before we support our bullish momentum to the upside. So dropping into the 4 hour time frame, this is now I think this is now clear enough. So this was the support and resistance area. And then when price came into this area and tapped into this area, you can see this kind of reaction. But right now, I don't have a clear confirmation, but we still wait to see what price is doing in this area. And if we have a very good confirmation, or if we do not have the confirmation, we will be looking for continuation entries to the upside. That is if we see a very good momentum. So the most important thing is to have the bias, have a clear understanding of where the market is moving towards. Because I think the price must at least try to fill these fair value gaps that remained on this side. I think the price will try to uh, have a pullback into this area at least and retest this support and resistance area once again before I look for more buys to the upside. So I need to see what the price will be doing in this area because right now I do not have a clear point of interest. As you can see clearly, there is no any good point of interest for us to take any trade from. So I need to see what the price will be doing in this area before we make any more judgment for us to look for more buys to the upside. So I think more update will be on Wednesday because now we will have a more understanding on what the market is trying to do in this area. So I think on gold, let's just wait for the reaction. But this is a clear buzz that price is willing to react from this area, and then we'll look for buys to the upside. So let's just wait. And also, don't forget that gold is trying to react from this order block because we also had a double top at this point. So we can take this as a retest to this double top, and then if we see more selling reaction to the upside, it means the double top from this side was stronger than this double bottom at this low. So it simply means that we just need to wait for a confirmation or a very good momentum to support our momentum to the upside. Because I think gold is still bullish from let's say maybe from the daily or the weekly, we are still bullish to the upside. So we will just wait to see what the price will be doing. So and I'll update you guys on Wednesday. So stay tuned. Make sure you're here for that update. So I have a GBP JPY also an update on GBP JPY. So on GBP JPY, I drew my zone from the 4 hour time frame, and from the daily time frame, you can see price is trying to react from this order block. We have the daily order block here, but the zone was this zone was drawn. Let me delete it and then I'll draw it later. So we have a very good order block from the daily time frame. We can see this order block here from the daily time frame. Currently, price is trying to react from that order block, the daily order block. And for me to have a very good zone, a smaller zone, I came down to this 4 hour time frame, and then now I have this order block as my point of interest from the 4 hour time frame. So this is my point of interest, and we have a very good reaction out of this area. So right now, I'm waiting for more confirmation because I do not have a clear confirmation on this area. But I told you guys that if we have the confirmation in this area, we'll be looking for our selling opportunities to the downside. So it is clearly a bias that if we have a very good confirmation, and we must watch out for this area. So if we have that confirmation that we need to see, we'll be taking our selling opportunities to the downside. So and if you take this kind of a trade, I don't expect you to be targeting a lot. Just target 1:3 risk to reward ratio first, and then after that, I think if for example you could have entered this trade aggressively, you could have already hit 1:3 risk to reward ratio. You can see if you could have entered here aggressively, the market moved down very aggressively and tapped into 1:3 risk to reward ratio. So that is why I always try to choose 1:3 risk to reward ratio, because most of the time the market must hit your 1:3 risk to reward ratio. So and I chose to take a trade from this area because this high, the origin swept some inducements. We have these inducements, clear inducements at this point before moving to the downside to break structure. So after breaking this structure, we have this pullback that this low swept some liquidity on this low and went up, and then we have the move to the downside to break structure. So this high is used as an inducement. That is why I choose this high as a very strong area, and we must see a reaction. So if you understand that you must see a reaction from this kind of order block, you could have taken an aggressive entry because we have every confluence that is supporting our entry. We have a liquidity sweep on the other side. We have an inducement just below the point of interest. We have a valid break of structure to the downside. So that is why we see this kind of reaction from this area. So the update is that if we have a very good downtrend, a clear downtrend to the downside, and we see that the price is willing to push to the downside, we will be looking for selling opportunities for price to come down to clear this low. But if we see the price moving even higher, we will be looking for more buys, because now I will consider this high being violated to be like a good change of character for me to support the bias to the upside. And if I drop down to the lower time frame, let's say maybe the 4 hour time frame, the low that cleared liquidity, the low that I'm expecting to be cleared for my change of character to happen is this one. This low here is a very strong low. Let me mark it so that you can see clearly. So this low here is a strong low. And why is it a strong low? This low, we had this pullback here, and then the market went up to sweep this high's liquidity before moving down to sweep this low's liquidity. And then after the low was swept as liquidity, the price went up to break structure. So we have a valid break of structure, and then now we have another pullback into this low. This low did not sweep liquidity on this side, so the price went back up to break another structure. Now we have this reaction. The reaction came back down into this strong low. This is our strong low. And after the market came down to this strong low, the market swept these liquidities. We have a trend line liquidity at this point, a very good trend line liquidity. I don't know on how to mark those trend line liquidities, but we have a very good trend line liquidity we have this touch, this one, and this one to the upside. But the market came down to clear all these liquidities, and then we have this buying reaction to the upside. So the point is that this low is a strong low, and because this is a strong low, that is why we have this kind of reaction from this area. The price did not clear this low, and for me to have a bearish confirmation, I need to see this low taken out. So we wait to see what the price will be doing before we have a reaction. Always react with how the market reacts. So it doesn't mean that we will just be waiting to see what the market does, but I'm trying to give you a bias, and if that bias goes on how we expect it to go, we'll be looking for trades in support of that bias. So uh, my videos are always for you to have a bias, to have an area to try and trade from. So next I have NAS 100. So on NAS 100 from the daily time frame, on NAS 100 from the daily time frame, if I zoom out, you can see clearly, already you can see what the trend is. You can see clearly the trend is a bullish trend. And what are we supposed to be looking for? We are supposed to be looking for buying opportunities to the upside. So on my current area, around this area here, I want to see if I have that bullish, my conferences supporting the bullish trend. So in this area here, we had the first reaction, and then we have the second reaction. We have this rejection, we have this rejection also. So it means the price is trying to have some rejection from this area. And now that we understand that we had this first reaction, the price failed to move even higher. And then now, next, we have this reaction also. So I need to look for buys to the upside because of this kind of reaction. And because of that, I'm going to come into the 4 hour time frame and see what the market did here. So uh, you can see how good this reaction is, and we can see this engulfing candle at this point here. This engulfing candle uh, engulfed around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It engulfed 5 candles, and you can see how massive it is. So I think this is supporting even more the trend to the upside. And right now, I need to have to see a pullback into this fair value gap. I need to see this fair value gap being filled. But in case the fair value gap is not going to be filled, we'll just look for buys to the upside, because sometimes the market can just react from where it is, and then you will see the market just moving to the upside. But to add more confidence is that we need to see we need to wait to see what the market will do, and we will try to look for trading opportunities to that direction. So currently, right now, I need to see if the price will try and fill in this fair value gap before moving to the upside. But we'll wait to see and react with how the market reacts. So currently, right now, because of this engulfing candle, I need to see some pullback into this area before I look for more buys. So coming into the 1 hour time frame, let me try to see if I can have a point of interest. So in the 1 hour time frame, we have this area as a fair value gap also. And if I try to draw my fib level, but before that, let me drop down into the 15 minutes time frame to see if I can have the change of character. So my last high that swept liquidity, we have this high here that swept this liquidity. We have this pullback here. This is not a valid pullback, but we consider this as an inducement because the market uh we had this pullback. Okay, let me break down from this point here. So we had this pullback, this small pullback around this area. So let me try to use maybe the pen so that it can be very clear. Sorry. So we have this pullback here. Sorry, we have this pullback here. The market came down to clear this low, and then we have the full pullback into this area to use this as a liquidity. And then now we have the move to the downside to break this structure. So because we have a break of structure at this point, we had this pullback again, and then the market went down to break another structure. But because this high did not sweep a very good, we do not see any sweep of liquidity on this side, an inducement. I'm going to consider this high more as my change of character than any other uh, pullback that happened here. So in this case, when we had this pullback, for example, when we had this movement to the downside, we had this pullback, a small pullback, and then we have clearing this low, and then the price decided to go up again to clear this highs liquidity, and then we have the move to the downside. So someone can choose to use this as their change of character, or you can also choose to use this as your change of character. So it only depends what you prefer in your trading. So let me delete all these drawings. So it only depends with what you prefer in taking your trades. But for me, I want to use this one as my change of character. This high, I want to choose this high as my change of character. And if I use this high as my change of character, I'll be expecting the price to come, for example, to come into the 50% level of the Fib level of the Fibonacci retracement tool before I have any of my entries. So, and you can see where the 50% level is. That is my entry point. That is where I want to see the price coming into before I have any entry. But to be more safe, you will be using the order block down here. We have this order block that has a fair value gap. I'll try and wait for price to come into this area. We have this order block here from the daily from the 1 hour time frame, a very good order block with a fair value gap. So we'll just try and wait to see if the price will come into this area, but this is my best entry point. So I expect the market to come into this low because the market can try to fill in this fair value gap before moving even higher to the upside. So we will just wait to see what the market will be doing, and we will react with how the market reacts. So if I take the trade from that point, I'll be targeting 1 is to 3 risk to reward ratio. And after targeting 1 is to 3 risk to reward ratio, we clearly have a bullish trend to the upside, and that means I'll be looking for more buying opportunities to the upside. So it is a clear analysis, and because of that reaction from this point, that is why I'm willing to take more buys to the upside. And now that we have our change of character, and we are sure that the market is willing to push the upside, it means that we have a clear confirmation that we need to look for buys on NAS 100. So, and I think that is a very nice analysis on NAS 100. I think that is a high probability analysis from this video today. So thank you guys for being here. I have analyzed those 5 pairs, and I think the 5 pairs have very good setups for this week. So stay tuned for Wednesday's video. Be here, and don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment on this video.